Hello, Master Duel Central. How's it going, guys? So, good news. We actually are getting a pretty significant update in Master Duel. A lot of good changes I've been noticing in here, so I actually wanted to report on it because I love to complain about Konami, so when they do something right, I gotta comment on that as well. We do have also a new box coming, but I'm gonna start with the little updates they did here because a lot of really good stuff in here, so I really want to talk about it. For instance, they added team battles. Now I'm gonna be honest, it says that the team battles are supposed to be out after November 10th. It's November 11th, and I don't see no team battles nowhere. I was looking, I was trying to get into a team battle, can't find the feature. Maybe it's gonna maybe I'm just stupid and it's actually super easy to get into, or maybe they just I don't know, mistranslated and it's actually not out yet, but it's gonna be out. Just the fact that we know we're getting team battles is already good enough. I know a lot of people actually wanted team battles and they're a lot of fun, so I'm glad they're coming. I'm glad that they're putting it this way where we can do it in free duels. I hope they put them in duel rooms as well. But yeah, I just think it's a great idea. So super happy to see this as an alternative format that we're going to be able to play in the game, and it's a really fun format too. Team battles are super great, so I look forward to playing some team battles on stream. Added card activation animation during duels. I'm guessing just a couple animations added, like that's whatever. Choosing the order of effects or activation in standby end phase. This is pretty huge. A lot of cards were kind of annoying. Their example here is actually perfect. Sky Striker Ace Shizuku is a card that was always kind of awkward to resolve at the end phase when you wanted to chain it properly with multi-roll. So now you can actually do that. So I mean, yeah, they're saying you're gonna have to go in activation order settings. Just make sure to set that up so that you can actually do this, because this is going to be super useful. And this is not the only card that does it, but I think it's a great example for me, at least. Off the top of my head, that's the first card I would think of that I wanted that change for. Highlighting effects that can be activated, certain cards only. Not exactly sure what they mean by this, but I'm guessing it means that when they ask you if you want to chain a card or effect, and that card has more than one effect, it's actually going to tell you which effect you can chain, so you don't feel like an idiot. You go yes, and then it's like, oh, that's the effect I just chained. You know what I mean? And this is really, really important. Legal cheating. Shouts out Distant Coder. Shouts out Decade. Highlighting of which of a card's effects was activated. Legal cheating is no longer legal or cheating. Now basically what they did, and I'm guessing the whole reason they did this is because of the bullshit with the adventure continuous spell. The text of the effect that was activated will now display in the top right of the screen, because if you guys remember, you wouldn't know which of the two effects was activating. Sometimes you would just not use your Ash thinking they were going to search their equip spell, and boom, they add Griffin to hand, and you're like, oh my god, I just got jebaited. So thankfully they changed that. That's a really good change. Shouts out Konami for actually listening to feedback. A little late on this. Now, a couple months late on this, but you know, it's a good change regardless. And they say they're going to implement it for more cards in the future, so I really appreciate that. I think this is just a good feature to have. Added a related cards button in the card detail screen during duels. That seems interesting, I guess. I'm not exactly sure really what the point of that is, but it's cool. Decks can now be edited from a room. This is huge, but I guess it's gonna be good for best of 3 tournaments. Now people can do their siding in the room. They don't have to get out of the room, but they'll still have to they still have to get off the table, so it doesn't really change that much, but it does save time, so it's nice. And I mean, when you're just testing your deck with a friend, it's just great to have that option, because it was pretty annoying having to get out of the duel room just to go edit your deck and come back in the duel room. So another great change. And room expiration date, the time when the room is closed, now displays in the room information. I mean, okay, whatever. Solo mode related updates. A retry button has been added to the game so that you don't have to go back to the menu, and you know, that's just good. Select retry to start the duel over without returning to chapter selection. Exactly, so saving you some time is nice, I guess. Now I might actually want to go through my solo mode. It won't be as painful. And announcements in the center of the screen that appear in practice chapters can now be skipped by tapping. Thank God. This is the reason. Oh my god, this is such a good change. This is the reason I never did my solo mode shit. Because, man, those little black text, you know, that little black bar with white text that tells you what to do is so freaking slow that I was dreading even clicking on a solo mode. So if you check my solo modes, I'll show you after, but I have almost none of them done. Now I might actually go ahead and just go through all of them for the new box, maybe get those gems. Deck editing related updates. Linking deck lists with the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG card database. You can now link your decks to the deck editor and the TCG card database. They might mean the Neuron app, I'm guessing. Yeah, you'll be able to access your deck lists in the game. Huh, interesting. Added a button to delete multiple selections in the deck editor. Multiple dice can now be selected and deleted with the trash button. Oh, that's good. That's good. It was kind of annoying when you had to delete one by one, I guess, but that's just decent updates. Shop related updates. Newly added cards added to the list of cards displayed in cards included in this pack. Oh, that's cool. So when they drop a new selection pack and it has some old cards in it, you'll have like a newly added cards section that shows you the new cards from this selection pack. I like that. I like that. That's simple, but it's good. It's good to have. The product screen can now be swiped to display them. I mean, that's whatever, right? Issues patched. Issue with the Dynamorphic. Okay, like these are all just a bunch of glitch fixes. I don't really care about that. That's all there is to it. So again, guys, just huge updates here. Also, like some of the cool little animations, like if I can show you here in Diamond Rank, you get a nice little spark of lightning now. Look at that! Wow, wow. It's beautiful. So yeah, you get that. It's pretty nice, I guess. We do have a new box coming as well, new selection pack, and this one is going to be called what is it? Battle Trajectory. Now, we do have the leaks on Master Duel Meta. Basically, it's a pendulum box. It's a pendulum box. Let me switch on over to Master Duel Meta and shouts out Decade. This website is amazing. Let's just get into it, guys. They've got pretty much the leaks for the main cards of the set here. So what we're looking at for this set, we're looking at pendulum support, scare claws, and some more pendulum support in the form of Performa Pals. But there's some cool decks in here. Don't sleep on this. First of all, Scare Claws is pretty cool. Scare Claws is kind of like a swarm deck. I'm going to show you some potential deck lists after, but it's one of those, you know, like just summon a bunch of bodies, spam a bunch of bodies, make link monsters. You can make Baron pretty easily because they're like main, kind of not really boss monster, but like the face of the deck is Visas Starfrost, which is a really big tuner. So you can easily make Baron de Fleur in this deck on top of your link monsters. So pretty cool deck. Honestly, it might not be like dominating the meta or anything like that, but it's going to be a threat still. It's going to be a good deck, and it's going to be a lot of fun to play. We've also got a lot of Performa Pal stuff. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not super into Performa Pals, so I'm not going to get too much into this. I'm sure you can watch Triff. Triff will probably tell you all about these guys, but there are some pendulums in this set that I'm very interested in, and that's the Valence. Now, I do have, again, a potential deck list I'm going to show you for this, and we are going to build Valence as well as Scarecrows. I'm going to kind of skip over Performa Pal, just not the deck for me. But Valence is really cool. It's you can play it going second as kind of like a board breaking, game winning deck, and it's not like your typical pendulum deck. What this deck does is it kind of like, the whole idea of this deck is you go from your back row into your front row. Like it's you could almost see it like you're not even really playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You're almost playing like a different card game. The field spells are really cool. Basically, you have one field spell that makes you move your cards from your spell and trap zone to your monster zone, and you have one that makes you move monsters from the monster zone to the spell and trap zone. But you can do it for your opponent too. So you could take one of their monsters with one of your field spells and move their monster over to their spell and trap zone. So it's really cool. They're very interesting cards. I can't wait to build them. I'm gonna show you what it kind of looks like, but yeah, it's definitely more of like a going second deck, you know, like get rid of cards, pop some shit, drop some shit, bounce some shit to the back row, and you just go in for the game. It's got big bodies. You can easily make this big guy over here, and it can gain some attack and do some burn damage, so that helps get to your win condition of just going balls to the wall. They just got some really cool cards in here. Scare Claws has like an Omni Negate. So yeah, you know, just your basically like kind of like your tip, maybe similar to Salamangreat, if you will, with the, you know, they've got their boss link monster. They play a lot of generic link monsters. They've got their Omni Negate trap card. You know, they do cool link things. I think they look really fun to play. For Scare Claws, this is like a potential build. This is probably what I'm gonna try. Basically, you know, like running, this is like your body spam build, right? Your typical body spam. So running a lot of these because you have a lot of level 3s in the deck. So, you know, you can run your Psychic Wielder, Psychic Tracker. We do want to run the adventure stuff, Visa Starfrost, you know. I'm not going to go too in depth right now because when they come out in the game, we're actually going to make deck profiles and shit and play the decks. But I do want to give you guys kind of an idea of the kind of builds you want to do for this. And obviously this deck right here, there's a lot of different ways to play it. You got the more control variant. You can play it with more hand traps, you know, like 20 hand traps type of build. and you just have like your typical mid-range deck, right? And shout out to Pit to Sovs, by the way, in the Discord. This guy helped me a lot with these decks because I'm not super familiar with them. But I was interested in Scareclaw already, and Valence, I didn't know about Valence like that, but after he showed me Valence, I was like, oh wow, I can't wait for this deck. Dude, they run Senate Switch, and they even search Senate Switch. This card right here, oh no, not this one, I mean this one, Valence Wars, literally adds Senate Switch from your deck to your hand. And it's actually useful in this deck, because what you do in this deck is basically you move your cards from your Pendulum zones to your monster zone in the same column. Then you can use Senate Switch, move it so that you can free up that column, put another monster in the Pendulum zone, summon it. It's a cool, like, it spams a bunch of big bodies, does a bunch of cool things, and man, I can't wait to try this deck out. This one, it just looks so awesome. Unironically playing Kaiden Kendo Spirit, unironically playing Gizmic Okami and Cyberstein for the 5,000, like literally using Cyberstein as just a way to bait out a negate since you don't really use your normal summon is just awesome. This deck looks absolutely phenomenal. Maybe not like meta, but honestly, I think in a best of one format, we could be surprised. People won't really be prepared for it, and it definitely does some cool things. And these decks, this one and Scareclaw, they only get better with time, so I'm very excited for it. Obviously, it's not like going to be top meta breaking, but I do think it's going to at least switch up the game a little bit, and you'll definitely be seeing these decks in ladder. So I definitely look forward to building Valence, building Scareclaw, and I look forward to seeing other people build the Pendulum stuff. There is one card I didn't mention that's pretty important. That would be Odd Eyes Pendulum. Yeah, Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon. This is a card that people are going to be replacing the regular Odd Eyes with, and it's very good. Basically, you put it in the Pendulum zone, and you can add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand, then return this card to the hand, so you can add the Pendulum spell that summons Pendulum Graph. And its effect is you can ritual summon this card with Odd Eyes Advent, and basically it's an Omni Negate, so when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, oh no, it's not an Omni Negate, sorry, it's a Spell Negate. But what's really good about it is you put in your Pendulum zone as it negates, and it also special summons another Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck. So you get a Spell Negate, put in your Pendulum zone, special summon from your extra deck a like a Pendulum, the fusion one, I forget the name, but the fusion one that's basically an Omni Negate. I'm not super familiar with Odd Eyes, but you know, they have that good fusion one and that good Xyz one that you can summon from the extra deck for free. And you'll just keep getting advantage, because then on the end phase, this card is going to add the ritual spell from your deck to your hand, right? So you're generating advantage. It adds consistency to the deck. It's a good like negate effect. It's just a good card overall. So you're going to be definitely seeing this in like the decks that run Odd Eyes. So pretty cool card. I think it's going to be really interesting to see those decks run around, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Pendulums. Another card also that I should mention that I did not mention is whoops, sorry, DK, I'm not paying for that shit, is Beyond the Pendulum. This card, I mean, it's weird because we've never had this card with Electromite, but this card is still really good even with Electromite in the game. This card has its own uses. Basically, this card will search any Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, which is crazy, by the way. But what it says is you can't activate monster effects. Also, the effects of cards in your Pendulum zones are negated until you Pendulum summon. So basically, you know, you're playing a Pendulum deck, you're going to Pendulum summon anyway. The one thing that sucks about this is you need to use it before you Pendulum summon. So I mean, a lot of decks work with this. For instance, we can run this in Valence, and we don't even want to really run the Electromite. We actually rather run Beyond the Pendulum in Valence specifically. But even in more dedicated Pendulum decks, like I think you're going to be seeing Beyond the Pendulum alongside Electromite, which is going to be really interesting. We've never really seen that in TCG, but this card is absolutely fantastic. For the low cost of 1200 life points, adding any Pendulum monster from deck to hand is just absolutely insane. So honestly, a lot to get excited for. If you guys like Pendulums, I mean, this is going to be your season. There's going to be a lot of really good stuff for Pendulum monsters. And honestly, man, Triv Gaming must be feeling pretty good right now. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it from me. Huge shout out to my UCT tier members. That would be Raptor, Bongerman for 20, Dad Dude Joey, Huda Man me, as well as Right Toast. Huge shout out to everyone supporting the videos in the Mist tier, Baby tier, liking, commenting, subscribing, people over on Twitch. That's going to be it from me. All right, peace.